to the corporations, to the banks, to the high-tech corporations.
Also to faith communities, colleges, and so on. Actually, we just did one in D.C. for the Poverty Summit, where people who were not poor for a few hours walk in the shoes of someone who is poor.
So they have this whole packet, and they take on this persona.
And it's a combination of assets and deficits, right?
Resources and needs.
And the people. Our clients, our real clients, are the gatekeepers.
So there's this role reversal that happens. They staff the booths, like the payday lender, the bank, the employer, the check cashing place, the welfare office, the school, the jail. They're all now being run by clients or staff working with volunteers. Meanwhile, those that haven't experienced poverty have this, in like 4 15-minute weeks, have this intensive experience that really viscerally hits their gut.
That, oh my gosh, I'm smart. I'm well educated. I have access to all these resources.
And I am completely frustrated, completely humiliated. I cannot survive.
It's this aha moment of, okay, this is what we're about. This is why we're doing what we do.
It's real lives that are faced with this immediacy of time, this lack of access to networks and connections.
And how the system conspires against them because of all the hoops and bureaucracy and the barriers that they have to jump through. And we're not just looking to affect funding. We're looking to affect policy. How do we get people who didn't know they believed in the need for actual system change to become active advocates for new policies?
I've been working there for 21 years now. The thing that's kept me is the mission and the stories. There was a woman we were working with who was getting childcare through a government program, but she lost her job. And when you lose your job, you lose your subsidy and your childcare. And at that point, you can get welfare, but that wasn't what she wanted. She just needed to be able to keep the childcare for a few weeks until she found a job. She liked the changes she was seeing in her child as a result of the childcare. He was learning to write his name, and he was happy there. And we were able to do that for her. We made what she wanted work. She kept her son in that childcare for the 4 weeks it took her to find a job. She was so happy about that.
I'm sorry I'm late, honey.
It's okay.
Okay, so let me just change and then we can run right out to dinner.
I canceled 2 hours ago.
Oh, no.
It's 8:30. You know my brother is. He's like a grizzly bear. You keep him waiting more than an hour, and one of us might lose a hand.
Okay, we can reschedule. Saturday? No, wait, I have the...
Fundraiser?
Okay, Sunday.
Volunteer Appreciation
Barbecue.
Day. I wouldn't miss it.
You mad?
Do I look mad?
You don't look mad. Why don't you look mad?
I had a very interesting evening.
Well, I'm afraid to ask, but all right. What did you do this evening, honey?
I curled up with the cadre study.
You what?
I read the cadre study.
You read it. Almost no one has actually read it.
I would argue that it is one of the most significant documents of the last 50 years. It comes right out of the 60s.
Well, 1972, if I remember.
Well, but they worked on it, started in 1967. It brought back a lot of memories.
You were born in 1969.
But there's a vibe to it. I remember the vibe.
You are such a wannabe hippie.
Right. But that is where my night got interesting.
All right.
Well, you are not a wannabe hippie, nor are most of the folks that I meet at your work or at church.
Okay, you're going somewhere with this.
Have you read the cadre study?
Okay, a long time ago at a leadership retreat.
It's a radical document. It's beautiful, inflammatory, and it's so hugely compassionate.
I don't know about radical, but
Well, in order to foster individual freedom and liberty, the spirit and programs which Catholic Charities sponsor should be of such a nature as to discern, to call attention to, and prevent the causes of bondage and oppression.
You are quoting the cadre study from memory?
Another section. Only in this way can we be faithful to the good news of liberation, which proclaims no superficial escape from the dilemma of humanity, but rather qualitative and substantive life flowing from a courageous death to myth and fantasy.
Sure, but what do you...
A courageous death to myth and fantasy.
What's on your mind, hun?
You work so hard. Everyone you work with works so hard. It fills your days and it keeps you up at night. It exhausts you.
I love what I do.
I know you do, and I love you. That's why I've been feeling for a while that what you do is, it's like putting Band-Aids on a broken dam. There are millions of gallons of water bursting through every day, and your Band-Aids can't stop that flood.
So what, you realized tonight that we need a new dam?
No. I realized tonight that until you stop thinking about dams and start working on that river, you're not going to make change.
We advocate for new policies. We work on the system.
Right. A system that is completely at odds with the call your own organization put out 40 years ago.
The call is to serve.
The call is not just to serve. The call is renewal. Revolution.
It's not calling for revolution. Okay, renewal, yes. But the cadre study does not tell us to topple civilization.
Fair enough, but it does tell you to do more than just provide direct service and work on legislation. It says Catholic Charities must stop wishing to resolve the poverty, the misery of the oppressed, by individual acts of charity alone.
Honey, I'm starting to feel like you may be treating me like someone who hasn't spent the last 20 years of her life serving others with a great deal of thought and care.
Baby, that is not...
No, do not baby me. I'm tired, and though I appreciate you taking an interest, make your point. I'm hungry.
Okay, here it is. I have never heard you talk about the deep and hard work that it would require as a people, as a community, to do what that study says you need to do. To look at our hearts and really face what inside each of us allows those who suffer to be the other. And baby, you are as good as it gets, as smart as it gets.
Say more.
As amazing as it gets, and believe me, I know you do that work. But do you ask the people who work with you, do you ask them to do that work in their own hearts?
It's a lot to ask.
I know. I can't imagine. But What I saw in black and white, I saw sort of